Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Andreas Dangl from Fabersoft. Today I will talk about cloud apps and particular with a focus on the public cloud. So first, on this day full of information about cloud, I will provide you with some orientation on what particular aspects I will talk here. I've borrowed this taxonomy for cloud from Forrester, and it basically tries to get a definition of all the different aspects of cloud offerings available today. So on the one dimension, you see the level of sharing coming from private cloud to public cloud, and the other dimension is basically the business value that's associated with the type of cloud offer today. And basically today, I will talk about the upper right corner here, showing you the software as a service and the business process as a service part, and not only in a private or private virtual cloud, but really in a public cloud. So in our opinion, and this is also what this chart made by Forrester says, this actually is the area where you can, on the one hand, because of the level of sharing, get the best value for your money, because these services, of course, are shared between many participants. And on the other hand, of course, this is also an increased business value, because with software and even business processes in a public cloud offering, you find really a way to model your business, the things that are really of a value of what you are actually doing in your business. So first, I will give you some points that are especially important for providing cloud apps for a public cloud. And later on, I will also give you a short demonstration of our approach to provide, on the one hand, a modeling framework for business processes for cloud apps, and on the other hand, a runtime for such applications in a public cloud. So the first very important thing is for cloud, and especially the public cloud, the very deep requirement for standardizations. This of course implies technical standards, but also business standards like records management standards, and also security standards. As I said, especially from a technical point of view, of course, the standardization in the area of Internet technologies is very crucial. It's very important to be aware that even if there are standards, not every major player providing infrastructure follows these standards. So this is really a very important part when you want to deploy your business processes, your applications to a common infrastructure, that you get rid of dependencies on certain technologies, but provide your functionality, your applications on top of really proven standards, like, for example, HTML5 will be. Unfortunately, this standard is not available so far, and that's the reason why we really have to look carefully on what kind of technology we put our business processes, our cloud applications on. So the other very important part, of course, is that the cloud is a mobile thing. maybe you know that in the next couple of months, I think, the sold devices, the smartphones and the smart devices like tablets, like iPads, will be higher than those than PCs and notebooks have been. And this is a very dramatic shift from having standard devices with a keyboard, with a mouse, as we have known it in the past. And this shift has also, of course, been to involved in the way we work with applications, in the way we are an integral part in our business processes. And once again, of course, with mobility, standardization is key. So I've listed some standards that are very important in that part. Of course, WebDAV you maybe know for accessing documents, CalDAV for calendar information, and of course security standards once again for encryption, authentication, and so on. This is the research I mentioned previously from Morgan Stanley, showing that the inflection point, smartphones versus regular PCs, will be in the next couple of months. Together with mobility, of course, globalization and having access to your business processes, to your apps from any point in the world is very important. So this is the chart from a customer using a cloud service from Fabersoft all over the world, and of course it's important that your service is available in any region of the world. And the last point I want to point out here is, as I mentioned in my introduction, that we see the cloud and even the public cloud as the new home for business applications. So what do I mean with that? We see, especially in the area of collaboration, of business-to-business collaboration, there is a deep requirement of integration of different organizations into one homogeneous business processes. That's a new way how enterprises work together. Basically, they form things like virtual enterprises, leveraging services, business-wide services from each other, and the way how these interaction is controlled and is executed is on top of business application, on top of business processes, and of course it makes perfectly sense to provide these business processes via applications, via business applications from a cloud service, and to combine the strengths of services that are available with the ability to access it immediately in a public cloud, just with a simple registration, just on a pay-per-use manner. This really makes the power of such cloud applications provided in a public cloud. And the way, of course, to define such cloud apps must be as simple as possible. The cloud is an agile phenomenon with very high velocity, very high speed. So people that want to deploy their processes to a cloud, they do not have time to spend for months and years to define and model the business processes, to define and model the interfaces between the different actors in such processes. So it must be a very accurate, precise, and effective way to define such cloud applications. So there is also a shift from We think from traditional programming paradigms, like doing your business applications in programming languages like Java, .NET, to a modeling approach where you easily can define in a platform, in a technology independent way, what is the focus of your business, what is the relevant element of your business, your data model, your use case model, your business process model, of course. And the very important part is that it's essential that you don't deal with a certain technology, but have a tool set available that allows you to model these things in a way that's agnostic to technology, but is focusing on your business. And the way that we see here a lot of momentum is in the modeling area around the Eclipse modeling framework. So this is a tool set that allows you to create different ways of modeling in a very rich programming or modeling interface. You can use graphical ways to model, but also textual ways to model, especially for certain parts like an object model. It's also quite easy to do such a modeling in a textual way, not only a graphical way, and especially for bigger applications, we see a lot of positive effects in doing such a model. Actually in source code and not only in a graphical modeler where you easily lose control and the overview of your applications. So what I want to show you later on in my demo is really some live examples of such cloud apps modeled in a very, very short point of time. For complete businesses. So I will bring an example from healthcare where a couple of people created the full business processes of the relationship management of a healthcare organization within a couple of weeks. The other thing, of course, with what's quite a derivation in the cloud space and the cloud apps space is that if you are able to model and publish business processes, applications to a public cloud service, of course it perfectly makes sense that you can share this application amongst others. So it's not only business process you make for your own organization, but it's also possible to provide such cloud apps for a broader audience. And also, it's important to have a form of marketplace where you can offer your applications for the public cloud just in the same way as you know it maybe from Apple iTunes, the Apple apps that you just for whatever problem you have, actually you can find the right app in the App Store, and this is also the future we think for business processes, for applications in a public cloud, that such a marketplace will come up where you can register for certain functionality. That functionality plug and plays together with the other apps because of the standard interfaces that these apps support. So it's very easy to just create from different applications a homogeneous total infrastructure, total business environment for your very particular use cases. So to provide you with some overview of the different possibilities, generally spoken, according to your business applications. Of course, there is the on-premise world where you have full control, hosted world, private virtual clouds, where you actually just outsource your data center, and of course you can use cloud infrastructure as a service in that area. But as I said in my introduction, the highest level of sharing also provides you, of course, the maximum flexibility and the maximum possibility of integration, especially in a virtual hybrid world in that we all together live. So I want to talk about a product offering from a cloud provider I work for. That's Fabersoft. Fabersoft actually is B2B collaboration cloud. It's European based. There is a strong focus on of course the European federal situation. Supporting many languages for the different European countries, also supporting the special security requirements for the European countries, and for that product, I will give you a short overview what concerning the cloud development story. So compared to what Amazon, Google, or Windows Asia provide, the Fabersoft Folio Cloud basically really targets for the highest value of service for the business processes, for the software as a service, the applications as a service, in contrary to other vendors in that area. So maybe some words on how it is possible for somebody to create such a cloud app. Basically, the whole development for cloud apps, for the development, should be cloud-based as well. So basically, you need a notebook computer or a computer on site and running Eclipse, running your development environment, and with that computer you can access your hosted your cloud-based virtual development environment. Basically, you can compare it that you have your own private copy, a development copy of the public cloud for your development purposes. But of course, as with the real business, also development should be cloud-based. So you shouldn't need to create your own infrastructure. On the one hand, of course, for development, but the very major part here is not only for development, but also for testing, for supporting different platforms and so on, because that's actually the area where that costs a lot of resources, a lot of money for somebody who creates application to provide all the different platforms, testing environments that your application is targeting. So this means the whole continuous integration framework, meaning the whole infrastructure that provides automated tests, the whole reporting of your applications, of course, is once again cloud-based. So you can put your model, your business application in the cloud, and before it will be published to the public cloud. Of course, there is a kind of there must be a certification process. There must be very high quality requirements, proving that the application runs on any browser, on any operating system, integrates with any component that is already in the cloud with any application, and this, of course, is done cloud-based. It's not on the on-premise of the developer, but it's really provided as a service for such a developer. Yeah, and after such a release process with, on the one hand, an automated check and certification of applications, there, of course, is also a manual release. There must be a manual review process before an application can be published to the cloud. So why is this so important? The reason is that the cloud, as I said, is a very agile thing. So, for example, the Folio Cloud has monthly releases. Monthly, there is new software, a new base version of the cloud that is put to production in a very agile way, which means that all the applications, all the cloud apps provided by third parties, by developers, by organizations, have to follow that rhythm, that monthly rhythm, and by no means, of course, a single cloud app should be able or must not break anything in the public cloud, because that's, of course, since we have the highest level of sharing, since we are in a public cloud, this is the crucial thing, that the quality standard, the focus on quality is the top priority for such an application running in a public cloud. It's basically much easier to provide an application for an iPhone or for a mobile device, because this application basically runs on one single piece of hardware, and if it fails or crashes, then it influences only one single phone. If you have an infrastructure where you run applications in a public cloud, and all these applications also fit together and work together in one homogeneous system, then this focus on quality is the very essential part. So here you see the timeline of all the releases that have been issued with Fabersoft Folio Cloud in the last year, monthly releases, and all the cloud apps, of course, have to follow that rhythm. And the other thing that is essential to be able to deploy cloud apps in a public cloud is that you strictly follow what we call a zero known defects strategy. This means that whenever a defect or a bug report is in your bug database, it has to be fixed independent of the priority, independent of anything else. Before you create a new feature, defects have to be fixed, and this is a strategy we as a software vendor follow. So we ship our products really with zero known defects, because once again of that strong focus on quality for cloud services. This is the real important part. Yes, and the last slide here is once again showing you some mechanisms of creating quality. Of course, you cannot create quality in an agile world where you have monthly updates if you do quality quality management by hand. You have to have a full automation. And that's what is also provided in our cloud development environment, that you are able to model not only the functionality, but to also create the tests for your use cases, for your functions, not only unit tests but also user acceptance tests that are immediately executed whenever you do a change in your application. Then you will get immediate feedback from a user acceptance, from a user experience side, automatically provided by our data center. Yes, and for the last part of my presentation, I will switch now to my desktop and show you, give you some impression how such an application really works. So I just start a web browser application to access Folio Cloud, the cloud service we are talking about. Here, one thing I want to mention is, of course, security, authentication. It's very important that you not only have simple authentication mechanisms like username password or email address password, but also higher level things like two-factor authentication with mobile PIN and even certificate-based authentication. You have to remember that we are here a public cloud service, but even for a public cloud service, we think there is the requirement that you can authenticate against the public cloud service with digital IDs, with digital certificates issued by an authority where there is a trust relationship between the cloud and that authority. This also gives you, of course, some convenience, so I can access the cloud with the digital ID associated with my user profile, so I do not have to enter username and password. I can immediately access my cloud services, my business processes. So this is the welcome screen, giving me some overview about recent projects or recent changes here in that view. And here you see an overview of this is my production desktop of all the different projects I am currently working on. So my work, of course, is very, very project based, and I have here the different entities of work in the context of project. And the real-world sample of a typical cloud app that is modeled for Folio Cloud, I will give you an example of a customer of us. It's Premier Med. It's an organization from the healthcare area, and this organization manages hospitals, basically. And it manages hospitals not only in one country, but in different countries. And the special thing here is that they have very high level, also luxury hospitals, and also they have patients from all over Europe, especially from the Eastern European countries like Russia, like Romania. And what they want to achieve with the application is that they want to have the full process of communicating with the doctors that are locally with the patient, with maybe the specialists they want to involve in a certain medical operation, and they want to do it. Of course, you can imagine this is a very should be a very secure use case, so the privacy is key in that area. But on the other hand, of course, they need a way to share this information, to have a business process that involves different hospitals, different organizations, insurance companies, doctors, and so on. And what they did is they modeled their business for Fabersoft Folio Cloud. So you see here, this is their development team room. So they have some development or test data here. In Folio Cloud, you can manage, of course, documents quite easily directly in that web browser-based user interface. But there are not only documents like these Word documents, there are also other elements like these elements here. And these are basically cloud applications sitting here directly in Folio Cloud and providing these high-level use cases. So, for example, if I select that application here, I will get now the list of all the patients, these test data here. I will get a list of cases associated with that area of that application. I will get the list of insurances involved with their products. I will get the definition of possible treatments, the doctors, the clinics. So you see, in that cloud service, in that public cloud service, an application like this healthcare application is able to completely define, for example, in that case, an own data model that is natively integrated in that public cloud service and provides, of course, exactly the requirements or fulfills exactly the requirements such an organization has. So, for example, if I click on such a patient, I will get an overview of his data. I will get also the cases associated with that particular person. I can drill down to the case, get information about the cases, the treatments. You see a lot of things form-based, but also document-based. Here you get the medical documents of this person. All the elements that are really important so that this organization can do this business, and also with the perspective that this data is not only the business case or not only the business process for the organization itself, but also provides additional value, for example, for the patients or other parties outside that needs access to certain areas of data in that public cloud. But of course, as I said, privacy is key. Only those people should see or can see this information that are really allowed to. So I think you now have a little bit of an impression what such a cloud app is that lives here natively in that cloud service, in that browser. You see the communication. This is the URL of that cloud service. It's fully HTTPS, so it's a secure communication channel, and this application really directly sits in that browser. And the important thing is for the people creating that application, it was irrelevant for what target platform they created that application. They just did a modeling approach. So what I want to show you now is how such an application is modeled, or especially the timeline, because that's really an interesting point. I have here the cloud-based source control system that actually gives you some insights in how fast such an application can be created. And you see, this is the very first check-in, actually, the very first trial of that organization to create such a cloud app. They started on the 1st of March this year, typically with a My First app. So they just did the first steps in doing cloud apps modeling, and 1 or 2 weeks later, actually, they had a very productive phase. Actually, from Friday to Sunday, Monday, from the 18th to the 21st, 24th of March. So you see, within a couple of days, they did the basic application design, the modeling of all we've seen. What we've seen was really in the public cloud. So actually, a couple of weeks before, they did the modeling. Then they submitted the first version for review on the 25th of March. Then there were some review steps necessary. So as you see, there was a quality assurance, of course, from the side of the cloud provider and also from the automated development environment. And finally, at the 30th, so exactly 1 month after their very first steps with that technology, a reviewer of us released that first version we have seen in the cloud, version 008, with all the functionality we have seen so far. And basically, you can say creating a full-featured healthcare customer relationship management is possible by basically one person, Martina Hiesinger, within a couple of weeks, including the full quality assurance definitions, creation of automated tests, and all the things that are required to provide a full-featured, high-value, high-quality cloud application. Yeah, with this practical example, I want to come back to my presentation. I want to thank you for your audience. The Folio Cloud I've been talking about is basically a free cloud service. So it follows a freemium model. That means you can just register for free using it, trying your things out. It's also free to do the development for Folio Cloud, meaning creating your own cloud apps. So I would be glad if you could leave me a mail with your impressions, with your experience on that, if you need any help. And with this, I want to say once again thank you and good evening. Bye bye.